Hello, and welcome to this edition of United Way at Work. I'm your host, Jonna Farwell. The United Way of Rutland County is proud to help support several local agencies in providing vital services throughout our community. Each month, I will introduce you to those agencies and the people that make it all happen. So join me as I take you into the programs making an impact within our community. Hello, and welcome back to United Way at Work. Today, we're at the George Eddy Library on the campus of the College of St. Joseph. We're speaking with Deb Fennell, the board president of the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont. Thank you, Deb, for being on United Way at Work this month.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we would love to know a little bit about your connection to the Epilepsy Foundation and a little bit of history around how the Epilepsy Foundation formed here in Vermont.
Sure. So the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont is an affiliate of the Epilepsy Foundation of America, and the foundation in Vermont has been in existence for over 50 years. I know that. I actually don't know our founding date. We might need to find that out. Our current executive director has been with the organization for 40 years, and I know that she took over from a previous executive director. So it has been around for quite a while, and my family has actually been involved with the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont here in Rutland for at least 50 years, because my sister was diagnosed with epilepsy when she was younger, and my parents sought information about the condition from the foundation, and that's how we first became involved with it. And then later on, my daughter, about 13 years ago, was diagnosed with epilepsy herself. Sibling versus your own child, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont, as many parents do who are looking for help. To just find out more about what was going on and what resources were out there, and just to kind of not be so anxious about it, I think, was a lot of it as well.
So can you tell us a little bit about, once you reached out to the Epilepsy Foundation, what that work looks like? What kind of things do they do to support families? And do they work with specifically the individual that has epilepsy, or do they support the entire family unit?
Sure. The Epilepsy Foundation actually supports the entire family unit if the entire family unit is interested in it. Of course, they support the individual if they reach out. Sometimes individuals aren't willing to reach out. Sometimes family members are going to be the first ones to reach out. Particularly, people are diagnosed with epilepsy at all different ages. They might be diagnosed when they're a really young child, or they might be diagnosed, as a senior. There's no, specific time when you develop epilepsy.
Right.
And so because of that, sometimes, obviously, a 2-year-old's not going to reach out to the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont because they're too young to do so. However, you might find that there would be, a parent reaching out in that case. Other times, the person's going to be an adult when they're diagnosed, and they may reach out themselves. Oftentimes, I think that, it could be a combination. It could be a grandparent reaching out because the parents are so overwhelmed, and
Sure.
it could be but there's in the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont's offices are in Rutland, and there's a family room where people can come in. There's resources available.
Wow.
However, I know in my particular case, the executive director of the Epilepsy Foundation, I lived up in the northern part of the state, and she met me at a coffee shop and sat down with me and talked to me.
So the support is really tailored to the family in terms of what they need, and I imagine there's a lot of fear around a new diagnosis of epilepsy, and everybody's needs are going to be a little bit different.
Yes,
so
it's really true. Yes, it really and truly depends on what kind of knowledge the family already has. As I said,
Yeah.
I did have the advantage of knowing a little bit about it because I had a sibling who had epilepsy, but I needed information on approaching it from a parent's standpoint.
Right,
How do
very
I work
different.
Yes, how do I work with the schools? What can I expect, as my daughter ages, because she was 13 when she was diagnosed.
So that just brought up a good point. Does the Epilepsy Foundation provide supports to other members of the community other than just individuals diagnosed with epilepsy or the families of those people? So in terms of, schools, and we're sitting here in a beautiful college, are there any supports for school nurses and that type of thing?
There's a lot of supports. Just today, the executive director of the Epilepsy Foundation is doing a couple of programs in a number of schools in the Rutland County area. So she's going in, she'll work with school nurses. Another program that she's going to be doing this week is working with childcare providers, because oftentimes, it's kids, they might be the first person to see the symptom of epilepsy developing. So there are a lot of different types of supports that the foundation gives, and certainly, the school nurse program. They've done first responder training, the training for the child care providers, and then just, individuals as well, family groups. There's also support groups that run in the spring and the fall, and that allows people to come in and talk with other people who have a family member or themselves who have epilepsy and work together.
So there's a lot of education that goes on throughout the entire county.
There is, yes.
And so if someone needed to get in contact with the Epilepsy Foundation, how would they do that?
That's great. Well, there's a number of different ways. You can call the office located in Rutland. You can go online to the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont's website, and you can notify them via the website, and they'll get back to you. We have a Facebook page. They can go on the Facebook page and reach out, and we'll put them in touch with the executive director. So there's a lot of different ways that you can walk into the office. The hours are posted. It's in the service building on Merchants Row.
Right here in Rutland.
Right here in Rutland.
So I imagine one of the things that prevents individuals from reaching out to the Epilepsy Foundation is fear of not knowing what's going to happen next. If you have a new diagnosis, it's, I'm sure there's a lot of information that could feel very overwhelming. So once a referral is made, what is the very next step?
Okay. Well, actually, first of all, let's start with kind of how does somebody get referred to the Epilepsy Foundation. There's a lot of different ways. Doctors' offices and nurses oftentimes might make a referral to the Epilepsy Foundation if someone asks, where else can I find more information. Additionally, another way that, a school, because we train school nurses, so school personnel might make a referral to the Epilepsy Foundation. Sometimes they'll reach out to a family member and somebody will know about it. Somebody will just go online and Google it in this day and age and find us. And that's kind of the way they get the referral. Once they get the referral, then, as we mentioned before, it's really tailored to the individual. What does the individual need? Are they just looking for some brochures? Are they just looking for other places? Do they need assistance with talking about medications? What kind of medications are out there? How do I research medications? And the other thing that can happen is the person might contact the Epilepsy Foundation initially and then, go away for a while and then something changes. They may come back again. It's not just a one-time visit, and generally speaking, most people develop long relationships. We just had our annual dinner on the 4th of November, and many of the people, I've been involved with the foundation for over 10 years, and many of the people that were there long before me, and they are all still involved and, in various ways.
So it's really meant to be a lifelong resource.
It really is a lifelong resource, yes, definitely.
That's great.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how the United Way has helped the Epilepsy Foundation to make an impact throughout the community?
Sure. Well, so the funding from the United Way is just invaluable to us. Our offices being here in Rutland, our funding, we're a small nonprofit. We have one full-time employee and one part-time employee. So every little bit helps.
But she's a busy lady.
And she is a very busy lady, yes. Particularly the United Way funds, most recently, we have been using them for a program called the MFIT Monitor. And the MFIT Monitor is something that for people who have particularly uncontrolled seizures or that might have seizures in the middle of the night, particularly children, young adults, going off for their first time to school. It's a monitor that goes underneath the mattress, and if there's a violent seizure in the night, which, oftentimes there's a condition that's a little scary called SUDEP, which is sudden unexplained death in epilepsy, and it often happens at night. And so that can be a really scary time. I know it was for me as a
I'm
parent at
sure.
first, to kind of feel like, what if I don't wake up and they're having a terrible seizure? They fall out of bed or they try and get up and, something happens. And the MFIT monitor alerts the caregiver to the fact that a seizure is happening, and we've given away 4 monitors through the United Way funding, and we're giving away 4 more. They would normally cost the family $700, and when you're already paying, extra doctor's bills for medications and all the kind of things that can come along with a new diagnosis and or a continuing diagnosis. Not having to put out those funds for the MFIT monitor.
And it must bring a level of peace of mind.
It does. At the annual meeting last year, I remember a parent talking about having received one of these and saying it was like the first time that they felt like they'd gotten a good night's sleep in a really long time.
That's a powerful
It
statement.
is a really powerful statement, yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to talk about in terms of It's National
Epilepsy Awareness Month. That is an initiative by the Epilepsy Foundation of America to encourage all of the affiliates to just kind of raise awareness. We don't just do that in November. We try and make that's a big part of all of the mission of all of
year
the epilepsy. Year round. However, particularly in November, we try and raise even more awareness. We have events that are ongoing through the year. We have our Walk for Epilepsy, where families get together and do a walk, raise some money, but also get to know each other. That helps raise awareness. Our 2 mud volleyball tournaments, one of which is here in Rutland. That's a huge
that's a big event
for us.
Yes.
And all of those, anytime I am actually the tournament director for that event, and I'm always talking to people, from the start of when we have our team captains meeting, why we're here, what it means to us that everybody's decided to play, and trying to explain to them what epilepsy is and why we're doing it kind of from the bigger picture. So, but in November we do that's why we have our annual meeting in November, is to help raise awareness. So it's a really important time, and I think particularly for me personally, just recently, my daughter is a young adult now. She happened to be down for the weekend, and yesterday she wasn't able to go to work because of an issue with her epilepsy. And, it was a good reminder to me that, for some people, they may be able to have surgery or something and actually have a cure for epilepsy, but for most people, it's a lifelong condition. They're going to be on medications for the rest of their life. Hopefully, my daughter's pretty lucky. Her seizures are well controlled. Not everybody's are.
Yeah.
So it's a really important, that would be kind of the message I'd give to everybody, is this is an ongoing condition for most people. So there's always ongoing need as well.
Yes.
And we so appreciate the United Way and everything it does, not just Southwestern Council on Aging. That's another, because seniors are often the highest diagnosed with epilepsy. Head injuries can bring on epilepsy. So, yeah. And I know the College of St. Joe's, here where I work, it brings, we work with a lot of the United Way provider agencies, and Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging is one of them. So there's really a connection between all of our agencies.
Yes.
So the work that the United Way does, when you think, it's just this agency or it's just this agency, we're all interconnected.
Yes, yes, we are.
Yes.
I appreciate you bringing that up. Is there anything else that you would just like people to know about the Epilepsy Foundation, just like a personal...
Well, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Epilepsy does still have a stigma about it. There's a lot of, for whatever reason, maybe, there just hasn't been as much awareness of it as there are maybe sometimes other disabilities and other conditions. And, to not be afraid of it. The vast majority of people can live a pretty normal life, without having to make a lot of changes. And even if you do have to make changes, that there's resources out there, there's help. And that's what we're here for.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
It is our pleasure. And if you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to contact the United Way at 773-7477, and we will gladly get you connected to the Epilepsy Foundation.
2 years ago, I came here from New Hampshire after my ex left me being pregnant. I was homeless, and I had a bunch of resources tell me Fairhaven Concern can help me. I came here, I was scared to death.
We are busy here. We are busy. The food shelf is busy, and there's need here.
I have a 4-year-old named Maggie. I have a 1-year-old named Isabel. It was a life-changing experience for me coming here and relying on Fairhaven Concern, because for me, I always wanted to do things by myself.
Cassie's story represents many that we do serve here. Her ability to be able to take a situation where she feels that she has no hope, and she's stated that before, and being able to move to a place of hope and of success. We're very proud of where Cassie's at today.
If I never came here, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I'm very proud of what we do here. There's a great team. You can't see them, but boy, they're behind me. They're great.
My future plans is to run a business of my own. Right now, I have 17 customers. On Facebook, you can find Cassies Services. It's a landscaping, housekeeping business. I also do anything from car detailing, animal care, elderly care, child care, trimming hedges, anything gardening, landscaping, any housekeeping, stacking wood, cutting wood. I do all of that to help people. Like, I see what Fairhaven Concern does to people, and I'm like, I want to be a part of that. I want to have a business helping people, and to me, it's not about the money. It's about helping people. And that means more to me than anything.
This week we have the Stone Bench Project, which is comprised of local youth between the ages of 13 and 19. The instructor is Nora Valdez, and she is, this is her 9th year working with the local youth.
A lot of the kids, as I say, they find a way to express themselves when they accomplish something, and they get to trust themselves. And so they leave the project like feeling very positive about themselves. So it's a whole process, and you know, we talk a lot about like being secure, that being yourself and trusting yourself, and that's all it takes in life. You know, you trust in yourself, you will do great.
United Way has been very instrumental in helping us fund it this year. We see this as something that is part of Rutland Region's heritage. The bench is a permanent public artwork that's left after the kids have grown up. They can come back, their names on it, on a plaque, and show their friends and family that, you know, they've left something for the community.
It's gonna feel like you've accomplished something, and it's really important to know that you did this and you helped other people and other people helped you. Like a real serious project that's gonna go out in the world for a long time. To work on with somebody, I think it's kind of cool to share everything with them.
Sometimes it's not always easy to make ends meet. My husband had lost his job back in November of 2016, and I went out a month later to have surgery on my elbow, so therefore that's how we actually had lost our housing. And then we ended up in the in the state, in the National Forest, excuse me. Which we lived there for a few months. It was hard. We lived in a lean-to in the middle of winter. So on those nights we'd stay up in our lean-to. It was freezing cold. Middle of winter, in the National Forest, because nobody would put us up. Finally, with the grace of God and praying, I had Carol, my angel, help me. I went to Brock, and she was just always there. No matter what, she helped me find the apartment. She'd search with me. She helped me do applications. Brock for the community is just really good for all of us. If we didn't have this agency, I'm not sure that a lot of people would have the sustainability or what they need in their lives. So here I am today with my new house and over my head and be able to cook at my stove, and it's wonderful.
Well, obviously, seeing how the Dismas House deals with people coming out of corrections, I unfortunately had a run-in with the law this last time. I've had a drinking problem for a lot of decades, and unfortunately, if I start drinking, I end up in trouble.
When they get out of prison, they feel like they've got convict written on their forehead, and they walk down the street and they think everybody's looking at them as, oh, one of those bad guys. And they don't get that here, and I really stress that. You know, you come here and you're going to be just instantly part of the family.
If I haven't met Therese and she wouldn't give me the chance to be here, I probably would be in jail. And if I was not to be in jail, I'll probably be in the wrong spot and probably get to the same steps that I gone the first time.
The lifestyle in jail is you learn not to trust many people. It just makes the day go by easier in jail. So to come out and live in close proximity with others that were trying to get jobs and get reestablished with their families and, you know, move on in life, get an education. I was able to get involved with the positive aspects of what Dismas offers, which is immense.
I would like to say to these people that run these houses and programs that keep up the good job. They are doing great. You don't know how much this means to us, and opportunities like this does not come very often, and we need more houses and places like this for second chances.
My world gets real small if I drink, and my world gets really, really large if I stay sober and stay involved with community and family and those kinds of things.
Here at Meals on Wheels, we deliver approximately 1,100 meals a day, Monday through Friday. A lot of people are very grateful and thankful for the services we do. Some people don't have much family around here. Some people can't afford, you know, healthy food to survive through the week and stuff. So we bring a bunch of stuff for them.
You can depend on them. They come 3 times a week and they're always there. They're good on the weekends and also near the end of the month when funds are short. It helps substitute, and plus they're good.
Meals on Wheels is great for the idea that somebody is coming to the house at least once, you know, or twice a week or 3 times a week. And just the idea of having somebody else have eyes on my dad is a great relief to me.
Here you go, Cal.
I get very nice meals. I enjoy them very much. And it saves me from trying to do the cooking myself, which I can't do.
United Way is crucial to what we do here. We've been partners with the United Way almost since we began.
In a community like this, it's easier to have people behind you to help you with the things that you need help with than to not ask for help and be lost along the way.
We see all the good work that the United Way is doing for our community.
United Way, thank you. Thank you, thank you for keeping Dismas on your list and for giving us the support. It really means a lot.
It takes care of a lot of people, from little kids up to the elderly.
It's really important for people to give to United Way, which helps provide support to Meals on Wheels and other programs that are available to the people in this community.
Thank you for supporting the United Way.